2.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
응답하라 여친. Go to the into the she.
Back to the kyung to the chu. Hey.
Has it been more than a month? No, a couple weeks. Couple weeks.
I feel like
yeah.
I missed you so much.
A lot has happened.
And I cut my hair.
Yes.
You asked about it.
Fresh new look, new cut.
Well, not by choice. I had a chemical cut. Jane, the hair was so damaged. I didn't realize how bad it was until I realized I was going like this. I was like stroking my hair. I was like, bits were falling off, and it was
like
just
breaking off.
Yeah, I unintentionally had what the kids are going for, jellyfish hair. Like,
is that
it's
a thing
kind
now?
of like it's not a mullet, but it's kind of like a mushroomy top and then like straggly, so it kind of looks like jellyfish. But mine was not intentional, and it didn't look right.
But it is the color of a jellyfish too. Your hair.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. But it was there was a bit that was this long, like past my boob, and then the shortest piece. I'm like, this is not a good look. So when the hair gets processed too much, it starts just like falling off.
When you said chemical haircut, I imagined what happens to your hair when you nair it. Do you remember nair? Like
yes, basically that's it.
Kind of like sizzles.
Yes, it's sizzled off.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Did you go to a salon to get the actual haircut?
So I asked my girlfriend, that's a stylist. I was like, you need to help me out. This is I don't like, I don't like going short.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Childhood trauma of a bowl cut. Everybody thought I was a boy for far too long. I also have a big head, and I feel like it just makes my head look bigger. But I finally, and I don't hate it. I
think it looks so cute. That's a good length on you.
Yeah,
like
this is,
I
think, the shortest
long bob. Yeah,
that I can go, and I'm gonna grow it out and not do anything because it honestly scared me how much damage. Like, I was like, oh my God.
So you're not gonna bleach it?
No. So this is going to all grow out. Isn't that crazy to think about? Yeah.
Yeah, that is crazy too. You should do some like balayage or, just like some maintenance.
Yeah.
So that it'll ease the transition. And
something.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm so done with.
Yeah.
And considering it's not bad.
No.
Looking. It looks intentional now.
But when did you start to bleach? Because I feel like when I knew you, you had darker hair.
I feel like, I had the typical kind of more like yours, kind of like it was more.
Or maybe because it was pandemic and you couldn't go to a salon.
No.
You did it at home.
I did the purple thing. Remember that?
Yes.
Like super purple.
Yes.
And I think that was fine because purple darker.
I love the purple.
Yeah.
You should bring that back.
But then when I wanted to try the lighter colors, it's no way it's going to show up unless I bleach it. And the bleach is what did me in. I was like looking at some of these older videos. I'm like, oh my God, I had so much hair and I could feel, I actually have some extension bits put in.
Oh.
Which I didn't, my friend who's a stylist was like, you have some holes.
Okay, so she put that in with this haircut.
But it's blended well, right?
It is blended well,
So I was like, are you sure? It's literally just like 5 random places. She was like, I just wanted to not look like there's a hole there.
Yeah.
That's how bad it got.
Thank you.
So now the hair is more like, I'm like, okay, I don't look crazy. So that happened.
Yeah.
Currently still surviving a power outage. It's
we had the bomb cyclone move through.
Yeah. And
Seattle.
I am proud of my little family finding our ways to get through it.
Yeah.
So we did a movie night in the Tesla.
Smart move.
Yeah. And I thought it wasn't going to be possible. Well, we had no power. The Wi-Fi was a bit spotty, but Adonis connected to his phone and we watched the One Piece live action with the kids.
That's great. So it was connected like hotspot? He ran it off a hotspot or how was it connected?
I guess just his cellular. Because, the Tesla runs from his phone.
Yeah.
So.
And then it's all climate controlled
in
there.
Yeah, we were warm and cozy. The
you
kids
could have slept in there if it was a little bigger.
So I was like, and the kids were loving it.
Yeah.
They were so thirsty for any kind of digital experience because they were so it was like hell on earth for them.
Kids. They need to download before like every flight, my kids will download from Netflix onto their iPad. So they have it offline so they can watch it on the plane. Exactly. They need some offline shows.
Or these are the moments where I'm like, I should have kept that little DVD
player. The clamshell. Yes,
like
I know.
Old school.
I know.
I was like, oh my God, I was so eager to throw out all the DVDs. Like, this is where I'm going to save space. And I'm like, oh. It would not be lovely if they just flipped open their little DVD player and put it in and
seriously,
like, shut up and go play your DVD player.
I know.
Anyway, but
do you even have DVDs though?
No, we threw it all out. I for some reason thought that's where I was gonna save space.
We no longer have anything because up until a couple of weeks ago, we had our minivan where you could play DVDs. That's the only place we could watch a DVD, but we got rid of the van. Yeah. So.
Can you believe that's the little thing that was like, oh, that was actually comfort in that.
Yes.
The idea of just, there is something really nice, like VHS tapes just popping in.
Yeah.
And that's none of this, connect me to that app. Oh my God.
That's going to be non-existent.
I know. Like, you have to download this app. I fucking hate downloading apps.
It is scary though, right? Because everything goes, like, you don't have access to anything if Wi-Fi goes down or power goes out.
My kids literally followed me along today because our Issaquah is completely dark. And I was like, well, if you come with, they never want to leave the house, right? But I said, if you come with me today, you might have access to Wi-Fi. They got dressed in like 3 minutes tops. Never seen them move
Sarah's
so fast.
probably feeding them down there too, and they're eating food.
They weren't even open yet. That's how early we came, but I got some sandwich.
That's when you get the good food. Okay.
And I was like, shut up and don't make a noise and pretend. I want it to be like, nobody knows you're here. Like, you need to be quiet as a mouse. Please do not embarrass me.
Yeah.
Gave them the whole, like, act like you've been places spiel. Hopefully they're behaving.
Yeah.
It's a risk, but... Whew. Seeing your face, though, I know our listeners probably get tired of this, but
they're like, you guys release an episode every week. You're always talking about how much you missed each other.
Well, you know, coming to see, you have sparkle in your eyes, Jay.
Do I?
I know you probably don't feel it.
I was looking forward to this.
But when when we have this, I'm like, I know. I feel... There's something about it where I get to sit with my girlfriend and I just get to, and someone else was asking us, like, how do you prepare for your show? I'm like, we don't. We just come
not really.
Ready to see each other's face. And
that's the beauty of it. It's also reflective of the bandwidth we're operating on, right? At most, it'll be like, 2 days before, and I'll text you like
on some
what
days.
Do you want to is there anything
you want to talk about? Yeah, but usually I'm like, I can't wait to see your face. I have so much to tell you. It's been nuts, Yeah. But having this space really... And, we're terrible marketers. We don't even put it out there. But, oh, my gosh, Shane, did I tell you? Somebody was circulating, I think it was the episode where we were processing the election.
Oh.
And somebody... posted. I don't know
who
this person.
Who posted it?
I don't know. So this person tagged me.
Where was it? On TikTok?
On Instagram, like reels that.
Oh, okay.
And then they wrote like it's the thing that you do where you say we have an episode out.
Oh, okay.
And they reposted it and said this is a great show. And I was like, who is this person? I didn't know them. And I said, oh, thank you.
Oh, did I know them? Maybe?
I don't think you knew them either.
We always have to do that check.
Yeah. No, I don't think.
Your friend,
and they're
my
like,
friend.
You guys have a great show.
Oh, that's so nice.
And I was like, how did you come across our show?
Yeah.
Word of mouth. I was like, really?
Word of
mouth. And then they said, by the way, I'm a white man.
Oh. Wow.
I was like, oh, you're not our target audience, but we're happy you're here. And they said, no, I really enjoy your show. You,
very kind.
I hope that what we do comes across, and as it genuinely is a sincere thing, where we really get recharged with the comfort of our friendship. I mean, I know we talk off air too, but it just gets us pep in our step.
Definitely. For us, this is a very real-time, in-the-moment thing where we're present here at recording.
Yeah.
And I don't always listen back to like our episodes.
Okay,
Except,
Jane,
I'll listen back when you never, huh? You're like, that's all right. That's all right. I do it for the quality control.
Yes.
But then
you'll be like, this week we're gonna drop this episode. I'm like, which one? Oh, you, Jane. I'm gonna be honest with you.
I know, but I have to keep doing that as practice.
No, I love.
I don't
oh my God,
want
you
to
have to
ever be like, I'm just gonna make
thank
decisions by myself.
No, you're amazing for that. And because I know you got that covered, I'm like, I don't even worry about it. And I trust Blake knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
So I think the few times I have watched was because I wanted to try to make a clip out of it. But other than that, I've never watched. Part of it is I hate seeing myself. You look great.
No. But it's
I
like,
hate seeing myself.
Or
hearing my voice.
A lot of writers do this. They don't, when they put something out, they don't read their book again. Yeah. Right?
I can't.
Or
watch their movie.
Movies, yes.
There's actors that will never watch their own movies.
Yeah. I don't think I could do that. It's like, ooh. And it's like,
I
it's
didn't
not
think
you.
I could
It's
do
like
that.
you're playing a character.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't think I could do that, but I was like, I can do that. Like, I don't want to,
Do you ever watch your shows?
Stand-up.
Yeah, you don't watch
I
it
hate
again.
watching it.
Yeah,
I mean, I will,
Yeah.
again, for quality control, but I was like, there was actually a time where I watched one of my specials that I did have recorded and put out to sell. And I was like, oh, is this going to be bad? And it was a couple years later, right?
Yeah.
I watched through the whole thing and I was shocked that it wasn't terrible.
Okay.
Like, I thought it would be terribly dated.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, I think I was funny.
Yeah. I think it's good to do that from time to time. You
Yeah,
don't have to
from
do
time
it all the
to-
time, right? But you always come away with good takeaways. Either that, like, oh, that's, that worked, or like that didn't work.
There is definitely learning, regardless of how small or big the lesson is. But yeah, I have gotten, and I'll have random like comments like, oh, I'm so excited for this episode. Or someone else the other day was like, I'm behind one episode, but I'm going to get caught up this weekend. I'm like, oh my God, do we have listeners, Jane?
Yeah, I think we do at least.
And you
at
always.
At least a dozen.
Yeah, for sure a dozen. For sure a dozen. But it's been, I think it really, I'm enjoying that it's not about quantity, but for us it's about quality.
Yeah.
That our conversations are sincere, genuine, and it comes from a place of nurturing our friendship, most of all. And I think that really is rare.
It is
I
rare.
want to say.
Yeah.
Because, and it's not like we're not driven. I mean, we should be marketing a little bit better, but we're not driven by the end result as much as we are. This is probably one of the things that is actually very good at teaching me about being present. Like, so often we talk about how do you be present? How do you stay in the moment?
Yeah.
I can tell you, when I come to record with you, we didn't, usually we don't have a detailed plan of what we're going to talk about. We just come here and sit and we lock eyes and say, hey, how have you been?
I know. We don't, who do you do that with?
Nobody.
I don't do that with Ben, on a regular basis.
Right.
Like every day. No.
Right. And it's and this process, I think, is so really charging. Like, it really charges our connection, but not even our connection to each other, but I think it makes us better in other ways. We get better tuned in to our children, to our husbands. Anyways, again, I want to thank you. I sometimes do think I should listen back. Like, how many times do I say the same shit over and over? But no, I implore anybody out there who feels a little bit disoriented, busy with life, I think it's very anchoring. Yeah.
And I also want to encourage any listeners to kind of have that takeaway of the importance of having somebody you can talk to,
It's
conversation
really,
and thought partner.
This is like therapy.
Yeah.
I mean, still get therapy, but having someone that really sees you, you know, like a few minutes ago, I was in the bathroom like, oh my God, you get me?
Yeah.
And there was a moment where Jane was like, I'm so proud of you. Like,
Yeah.
there's things that you understand about me where I don't have to say it all.
Yeah.
And you just know,
yes,
like, Ellen, I'm proud of you.
mm-hmm.
You've got it.
Yeah.
And that kind of acknowledgement from someone that sees you for all that you are,
mm-hmm.
that understands how your brain works, because we've talked about how my brain works and how I process things. That's the true definition of being seen and heard.
Mm-hmm.
And I always knew that's what people talk about, but it really is a really humanizing thing to have someone that cares for you, that's truly like looks at you as a whole. And you know, there's stupid shit I say to you, and then after I read my text, I'm like, God, I'm such an asshole. And then you are always able to say, no, I know what you're thinking.
Yeah.
I get the broad. You don't define me by that one comment.
No.
And you get where my brain's been. It's scattered at times, and just having that somebody.
Yeah.
That.
But you allow me to be that too, as much as often as you say, oh, you're so like poised or together. I can show you sides of me where I'm, you know, going on a little rant, or, you know, I have my my jerk moments that I'll, you know, text you and stuff. And, you know, there's never any judgment.
I wish that I could have as much compassion I have for you to others, but I don't.
Yes. You know,
I don't know what it is about you.
I think because it comes from knowing and understanding.
Yeah.
That's part of it.
Yeah.
Right. And then also, like, with my partner, with Ben.
Yeah.
That's hard for me.
I know.
I'm still working on it.
I know.
When I go home today, I will be thinking about that.
Yeah, we're really kind to each other.
We are. We're like,
I want to protect you. I want to, I'm like, I think it's not, I don't put you on a pedestal so much. I just feel like I understand.
But it's reciprocal.
Yeah.
I think that's the key.
Right.
And
you feel protected by me. You feel cared for, genuine.
Yeah.
You know I have your back. Yeah. And I think once you feel that safety, I have
that connection and that bond has to be there.
I guess that's where I'm lacking with other people. Because I'm like, God damn it, get out of my fucking face.
Or maybe you're just not seeing it, you know. But I want to take the good that we have here in this relationship and apply it to some more other challenging ones. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard.
You know, maybe I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I don't have to be that way with everyone. It makes this even more, you know, something to cherish. Yeah. But it makes me feel like, okay, I'm not a complete asshole. I can do that here. So, and I think I must be a decent human.
Yeah. What I'm learning more and more is that, like, we have limited bandwidth for people and relationships too, not just with, you know, external things like schedules and workload and all that, but our ability to hold, different, like, quality relationships.
Yes.
It's sometimes we can hold a lot of like surface level, right? But like the really deep connections is it takes a lot of time and effort. So yeah, I think give ourselves some compassion, and then if we accept that part of it, then we can let go a little bit and not be, you know, so triggered, or, you know, whatever it is that you feel is like difficult for you to
I want
compassion.
To be this is so easy, and I wish, you know, everything else came so easy in friendships, but other times I get so easily irritable.
I know.
And with husbands too.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but I do think that when I have like when I'm irritable and then I'm like, wait a minute, think this out, and I I talk it out with him. We're fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I know exactly what you mean. The other day I was like, you know, trying to clean the kitchen. The kids wanted to watch the show in the car. And he's all busy playing the piano and singing. And I'm like,
Adonis is playing piano and singing.
That's a thing.
This is like during the power outage? No.
Yeah.
How did you have an actual piano, not a...
Yeah.
Okay. I have only seen the keyboard, so...
we used to have, yes, I forgot to tell you. We got a piano, a grand piano.
There you go. You have a grand piano. Where is it? In the main
I know. Where
room?
could I have put it? In the corner, in the living room.
Okay,
actually, and before anybody thinks anything, it was given to us from a friend.
Amazing.
Who loved the way Adonis plays.
Oh, well, see, like, if you didn't have that, you wouldn't have had music in the power outage.
Jade, I don't want music. I want quiet. So, and then I feel like an asshole because, so I'm not used to, you know this, I already told you this, I'm not used to having a loud house. Growing up, we had to be quiet. Adonis grew up in a rambunctious, constantly music.
Yeah.
Oh my God, whenever I would go to his parents' house when we were dating, it was like, his dad used to be a DJ. And it was loud music. Dun, 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 cha-cha music. Dun, dun, dun. I'm like, can we just sit in silence?
Yeah.
And it stresses me out. But I recognize, like, okay, I want my kids to grow up in a house filled with beautiful music and not feel like it stresses them. So I'm like trying to keep myself. I'm washing the dishes.
Yeah.
I want to tell them to shut the fuck up, but I won't because the kids are playing along, singing, dancing, and humming, and I'm like, I'm the crazy one. That can't handle like. There is no power. He barely has light, and this fool is singing away. And
I love it. Oh my goodness! Did he also have like a little candle there on top of the piano?
A battery-operated lantern.
Yeah.
And he's like swaying.
Yeah.
Like,
there's something very romantic about that. Waiting for the power to turn back on.
I know, but like my mind, Jane, it likes silence. This is why I don't even listen to music anymore.
This is surprising to me about you, though.
Yeah, everybody is shocked that I honestly want to be up on all the K-pop and like know all the lyrics, and I cannot have. I know, because I'm so fucking loud.
We feel like there's not enough time in the world to listen to all the music and all the new music that's being pumped out. You know, like we're getting ready for Thanksgiving, and we always do a huge Thanksgiving with our friends and neighbors, and we're doing karaoke.
Oh.
And so the kids have been practicing their karaoke. Like
See, I need to practice.
Yes.
I need to practice to know songs.
Their karaoke context is Oseon, your karaoke nights, and then the karaoke that we do at Thanksgiving.
I know you, and this I think is why it gives the impression that I'm like, I would be a loud jukebox at home, but
yeah. Wow.
Isn't that weird?
But you never make Adonis feel bad about it, right?
I used to a little bit in the beginning.
Okay.
But I recognize, not that I don't want to shame anyone that there is an idea of normal, but I recognize that it's an unhealthy response of my upbringing where, I'm a very jumpy person. Did you know that?
Yeah.
Like, no matter where I am, if someone taps me, I'm like, like, there's so many times Adonis is like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, or like, because it's been dark, right? So he went to the bathroom and I didn't know he was in there, and I go into the bathroom and he's like, hey, I fucking, he's like, oh my God, babe, you cannot walk through life like freaking out at every, another thing. So when you fall asleep, right?
Yeah.
Do you ever wake up because, like, you're falling asleep, but then you have that jerk? Well, I have that happen so often that I can't fall asleep. And this is one of my troubles of sleeping. And I was like, why is this happening to me? I mean, yes, it's a normal thing, but it happens to me a lot. And it's because my brain thinks an Adonis explained it to me because I don't know. He thinks he knows everything, but he's like, well, you're so tense.
Yes.
That when you let go or start to drift off, your brain thinks you're falling.
Okay. It does sound connected to
it's
anxiety.
A sign. Yeah, because I'm so even though I appear nobody
relaxed
thinks
and chill.
I'm actually always like tense. So I get jump scared every other fucking like second. My kids think it's funny because they can get me so easily, and I'm like, I love you, but please don't do that. So
do they know not to do that, or do they still do that?
I asked them, I didn't want them to make, like, oh, mom's traumatized, so don't do that to her. I just say, hey, it really scares me. Like, 간 떨어져. Like, it makes my, what is 간? Is it
liver?
Liver. Why would it be 간 떨어져 from?
I don't know.
I always thought it was 간 떨어져 means like heart. I mean, English translation, if that was actually translated, it will
makes
make
your
more
stomach, what is it? Your heart drop to your stomach or something? Yeah,
that would be more of an equal expression. Nobody would, if we translated it literally, I think this is why you have to give translators grace, because it wouldn't, if you translate it literally like, oh, don't do that, like, because my liver might fall out. That doesn't make sense. But what the equivalent would be like, oh my God, you made my heart pop, like, or, you know, heart drop. Made my heart drop. But, anyways, I feel like I've gotten so much better about accepting my own, I don't even know. I don't even think I should call it quirkiness. It's not that. Trauma responses and managing it. So I don't put it on my husband.
Yeah.
That so I try to do with the sound.
Sure.
But it makes me like crazy. Anyways. But this space being here, and we have nothing. We have no sounds. It's just you and me talking.
That's true.
It's the most soothing, one of the most soothing activities that calms my soul, calms my brain.
Yeah.
There's something very relaxing about.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. I cherish, our time together. Like we're heading into the holidays now, and I've just been getting a lot of bad news lately.
Yeah, you were telling me that.
Yeah. Just about friends and life things, friends getting ill, and it's sitting in grief with people, and
and you want to let people know that you're there for them. But you also don't want them to feel like it's something they have to act on, right? You don't want to add anything to their to-do list.
Right.
How do you convey that?
I know. I think it's hard in a digital world where a lot of the interaction is mainly digital via text. It's not like people don't feel comfortable picking up the phone and calling anymore, right? I remember after the storm, after this latest bomb cyclone, I just, in the morning, I figured, my parents had no idea. But my in-laws, they check the weather every day.
Oh, wow.
I know they're going to be worried. So
they're kind of, they're intense.
They're intense, yes. So I texted them photos of like some of the big trees. Like, oh, this was on our walk. A lot of these big trees fell in our neighborhood, but we're doing okay. My mother-in-law called me right away. So I answered. I felt like she needed that. I felt like it was more for her, right? Than
I
for
was
me.
Gonna say.
Yeah.
Don't you, I don't want to say I hate it, but don't you hate when that happens, when you're like, is this for you or for me?
Right. Yeah. And, so I felt like I did the right thing after, it's like she heard my voice.
Yeah.
I'm speaking for the family. Yeah. We're doing okay. And
you did a wonderful thing.
But that's like our parents' generation, right? I think like our generation, you have to be like really, really close in order to feel like you can pick up the phone, call that person, and not feel like you're imposing on them or like imposing yourself on them. And so I've had, a couple of those experiences where it's like, I want to express my being with them. Like, I want to express to you that I'm with you in this. But it's hard to do when we don't live in a world where it's normalized to like show up at their front door or, everything seems like, I don't want it to be like performative and like self, you know what I mean? Oh, but, without going into too much detail, because I want to like really respect and honor privacy, I learned like really, really difficult news about a loss the other day. And I told the kids about it because it happened to like Ruby's really good friend.
Yeah.
And I just told her, this might be an opportunity for you just to be a really good friend.
Wow. And,
they may not want to talk about it, or, they may not, show that anything is the matter, but just, be there for them, check in on them, And later at night, she brings me this envelope, like she made an envelope, and she said, "This is for my friend's mom."
Oh.
And I said, "Oh, can I look at it?" And then she wrote like, "You must be so sad. And if you are, I am too."
Oh.
And like, it had been hours. It was hours after I told them, right? Mentioned it to them after school.
You were such a good
I thought it was
mom.
like in one ear, out the other. And they're kind of like joking around, the kids as they are. They're just kind of like,
no, but you
bubbly.
are such a good mom.
Oh, no, but, that was like it was like, duh, Jane. You're thinking about like all day. I was thinking about like, but I want her to know my feeling. I want her to know that I don't want to pry into her pain, but how do I know? And I was asking my friends too, like, do you have any ideas? Like, I just, and
children teach us.
I was like, oh, she's just expressing that I am sad.
Yeah. Oh, that's so beautiful. And you just have to keep it simple.
And I did have that little instinct, like, oh, is this gonna will she be offended that I shared this with her?
No, it's
and
so
I was like, I'm going to
precious.
trust like mother to mother.
Yeah.
That she will accept it as like, we're sitting with you in your grief.
When did this happen?
It happened yesterday.
Okay, so you don't know.
Yeah, I don't know yet. Yeah, I don't know. She said she was gonna give it to her friend at school today. And so, yeah, but
I think
I was like Googling, as I do, how to deal with, like how do you, help somebody who is grieving, and
I think
all the things that you would expect, right?
Yeah, I remember sitting a little bit with this because you mentioned it. I think at the end of the day, if you genuinely show people your heart, you can't go wrong with that, ultimately.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to try to find grace in those steps, of course.
Yeah.
When someone is going through such a tremendous grief. But I think taking that chance is important, even at the risk of looking. I mean, what's the worst that could happen, right? Looking a little foolish, or
sure, yeah.
But and that's what I wanted. With you, I always like. I know text can be perceived wrong, but just the other day when you were
not
thinking
the best
it was,
medium.
No, just the other day when you were thinking it was Friday, and I was like, oh my God, isn't it? I panicked.
Yeah, I said, are you after the storm? I said, are you still okay to record tomorrow?
Because for me, between the two of us, you're the one that knows what day it is usually, and I was like, oh my God, my life has been a lie. I don't know what day it is. And then I was like, I double checked the calendar. I'm like, okay, no, today is Thursday. Or I said something like, actually, Jane, I think today is Thursday. But I didn't want you to think that I was being condescending towards you.
No, not at all.
And I knew you wouldn't, but I was like, hey, this is more for me. And I knew you would know what that meant. Like, this is like not to correct you double. It's to let me know, like, am I right? You know?
Yeah.
But having that trust in our friendship, and it does take time to build. And it does also take, so if you're listening and you're ever wondering, like what we're wondering about, how do you achieve that? It does take time to build. And it takes time showing people your heart, the vulnerable parts. And we've had so many of these conversations where I do feel like you know me. And I can't say that about everybody. I think a lot of people in particular, like even you were surprised I don't listen to music at home. There is a like sort of a exterior that people know.
For sure.
And I think for me in particular, it conflicts a lot. You're one of the few people that I think truly knows my heart in terms of what I prioritize. I think because I have this show side, it looks flashy and loud, and I care about like the exterior elements, when in reality what's most important to you and I both, and where we really feel connected, is that at the end of the day we care most about our family, and we would always prioritize that over going on the road to do something, or you know, and we get that about each other in such a sincere way. But if you don't have that right away, even still, I think when especially someone is in need with their heart, with their grief, with their loss, take that leap and be willing.
Yeah, that's good advice, I think.
Be willing to show them a hand and say, even if the worst that could happen is you might feel a little foolish, or you might feel like you've crossed a line a little bit, but it is, if it's done with care, I think there's no way to go wrong if you're trying to offer comfort. I think that's worth risking.
Yeah. I like that.
And I love Ruby. Like, children teach us. It's the simplest thing.
It's like they don't overcomplicate things. Right?
They're like,
it's like,
how beautiful is that? If you're hurting,
I mean, like, I couldn't say it better.
It was.
Myself.
It's oh my God! It's the most perfect, and yet it's so simple. If you're hurting, I'm hurting with you.
Yeah. And I didn't think at her level, right? I was like, okay, like, so when is the right time to send her a meal? Like, what would they want to eat? Like, or is that going to be more of a burden? Or should I do DoorDash? But then is that a burden because like they have to like order it? They might not know how to
come
do
to
that.
The door, and
they
weren't
like,
expecting
does that
anything.
feel very intrusive when I'm coming to the door? Like that, you know. Overthinking, and then, you know, she set the example for me. So I wrote a little card just because I felt like I wanted to relay my my feeling too, and just let her know, like, we're supporting you. You know,
beautiful.
And then I know, of course, on text I did say, I'm here for anything. I try to think of like specific ways I could offer help. You know, like.
And you know
I can
what,
do drop off
Jane?
or pick up, but like that, you know, I'm like, so you also have to feel close enough to be able to ask for that.
Right.
So I just reiterated that, and
whatever you
I didn't
think you need. But you know what, Jane? That's what I love about you, is because it is important for you to be a woman of your word and not be performative. You know, that's a big thing for you.
I mean, I had to calculate. If I say this, am I going to be able to do this?
That you're
like,
an
is this realistic
person.
to?
But that's what I
to
adore
do that.
About
build
you.
into our routine.
Yeah. That's what I adore about you. That you are someone. If you're going to say you're going to offer something, you want to be thoroughly available and make sure you can take those steps.
Yeah. You know, I think like some of it is conditioned from growing up in Korean church and always asking for, do you remember prayer requests? Like, I have a prayer request. I have a prayer request. But I would never pray about that.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, when I have friends who ask me, like, can you pray about it? I'll just stop what I'm doing and like say a little word.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I have to think about that now.
Yeah.
Because if I don't, then it's just like no different than whenever I would say like, oh, I'm thinking about you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's this season, this month has felt really long because we had election, right? And that was, it was only two weeks ago when we sat down and talked about that.
I know, that was a lot.
And I'm glad it's behind us, and now I can engage or not engage with all the, you know, other headlines and stuff that's coming out about what we have to look forward to in the next administration. But yeah, I feel like it's been like bad news after bad news after bad news after bad news. But we have one good news. Our school is not closing.
Yeah. Oh, that's huge.
It is huge. So I don't think any schools are closing.
Okay,
next year.
I thought you were talking about the fact that your school's not closed right now while I'm closed.
Oh, no.
I was like, way to rub it in my face, Jane.
No, that's
I've been
not
stuck
what I
with
mean.
These stinky kids
I
that
know,
won't take a shower.
Your kids have been home from school.
Oh my God.
From the power outage.
No, Jane, that's huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
You fought so hard for this.
It's huge. Yeah. I mean, obviously it wasn't just our community, but it was.
Okay. Sorry. I mean, this is like a miracle because you legit thought the school was closing.
Yes. And
what changed?
So ultimately, like the school board makes a decision, right? But the school board had directed the superintendent and the district to come up with a plan to, you know, reduce all their huge debt load, like $100 million in debt.
$100 million?
Well, they have $1 billion budget. Their budget is $1 billion for Seattle.
For what? Which
for
school
Seattle Public Schools, which is like the largest school district.
Damn, we're loaded
in the state. And yes, it also is like has the most resources, right? But it has the biggest budget, the largest number of students that they serve. But they were going to close up to 21 elementary schools next year.
That is so
and
many.
So we fought, and then they reduced it. They backtracked. They were like, we're just going to start with maybe 4 or 5 schools and see how those work and then make decisions moving forward. Well, of course, those communities were not happy to be guinea pigs.
Right.
And so this last school board meeting, which was the day of the storm, mind you, it was like the storm's coming. So, so the board had the sense to adjourn early. And then I was like driving white knuckled home. But basically they did a 180 and they said, the superintendent said, I'm going to have to reconsider this proposal. And so nothing's going to, I'm 80% certain that nothing will happen this school year.
Not even the guinea pig schools or?
Yeah, not correct.
Jane!
So it's a huge win. We'll take it.
Win. And I think you were at the forefront of that.
No, I wasn't at the forefront. I was just, you know.
Oh, you never give yourself credit. You were fighting hard. You were in the
We were.
You were in the throes of it.
Yeah, I mean, it did feel like it's been going on for 6 months.
Yeah.
Since last May. So very, very relieved for that.
Jane, this is a win.
It is a win.
We have to celebrate.
It is a win. I mean, it doesn't mean the money problem goes away, but it's
one fight at a time, Jane.
Exactly. Now we have more. Now we have time to go to the state.
I am so proud of you.
And tell them to fully
moms
fund
like
education.
You, Jane. It's moms like you. You don't get enough credit.
No,
what
it
did Ben
was a team effort.
Nothing. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I love you, Ben.
Actually, I had to lean on him a lot because I'm going to like meetings and stuff, and I'm telling him
Ben
like
was helping too.
Yeah,
Ben,
he was helping
shout out to Ben.
Yep. So
what a win!
It is a win. Like we're really, really thankful.
Oh my God, this was. Okay, I was at the other end of listening to you. You don't understand. You're not giving yourself enough credit. You were in the thick of this. You were consumed.
Yeah. I think I was like so consumed.
You wrote a lot of emails, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Even now, I'm like scared to go home and like open my inbox because, you know, everyone's heard the news now that schools aren't closing. But you know,
are you also at like, is this real? Like,
I think because it's felt like this is the imminent reality for so long.
Yeah.
That it seemed very anticlimactic when the board members that we thought weren't listening to us at all.
Wow.
But then, like, the board directors...
You had actually their ear.
We had their ear, and then it's like...
You probably were feeling like you're talking into a void.
Yeah, when you go and meet, like, in person to a meeting and you do public testimony, like, a lot of times it looks like they're not listening, but you have to do it multiple times. Like,
right. No, whenever I see those things, I'm like, are they even listening?
Yeah. Like, I spoke at the a meeting back in May, and it just felt like it fell on deaf ears, because at that point everybody was saying, like, we love our school, da, 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 da. You know, like, we were still, like, nailing down our strategy, and then we realized, okay, you know what, like, everybody's saying they love their school, nobody wants schools to close, and it's not going to make a difference. But there were several very compelling, poignant testimonies at this meeting saying that what the real impact is going to look like. Wow. It's going to look like, you know, a working family, 2-parent working family, not able to
I remember you
walk to school
talking about this. Yeah, what the actual impact is.
Yeah. And it actually moved, like, the board president to tears, and she wanted to reject the plan right there. Like, legally they can't, but she wanted to, like, have a vote right there and reject the plan.
Incredible.
Yeah. And so the energy was very exciting, you know, after it became possible. Like, what this, it was just kind of like, I think everybody was not super hopeful that you would turn around from this, because it was such a...
Yeah, even up to you talking, I mean...
It was such a doom
yeah,
and
you
gloom
said we're
plan.
done for.
Yeah. It was like 21 schools need to close. Because,
I'm shocked.
Yeah.
I did not expect this update from you.
I know, it's crazy, right? And you know what it makes me think is, like, we have a tendency to just trust that government does the right thing. We do. And then we tend to just be, like, disgruntled about it and be like, okay.
But this story is truly about how you and
parents,
the community,
like
the parents
on the ground
really
level, boots
fought.
on the ground, grassroots. And you know what was wild to me? Because we would email the legislators, state legislators.
Yeah.
A lot of them didn't know that this is happening in Seattle.
And this is, I think, the takeaway. You know, the election crushing, as we talked about, but you can make a difference at the local level, and it's going to be where you're most affected.
Yeah.
So fight. And that's what you did, Jane. You are an example of what it is to get involved at the local level and make a real difference.
Right. And, you know, the height of stress, maybe, you know, a couple weeks ago was like the height of stress, I would say, with this whole schools issue. I told Ben, I'm not coming back. I am not coming back and doing...
You're going back, Jane. You're fucking going back. You're needed.
I'm gonna leave a little room, Ben, if you're listening. I'm gonna leave a little room to come back.
Okay, Ben. Ben, your wife is a soldier. She got shit done. Yeah. So, you know, she's needed. Let me hold your hand. I am so fucking proud of you.
Well, but, you know, we make difference, whether it's like 1 or 2 listeners at a time.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Quality, kids. Quality over quantity.
Yes.
Let that be the takeaway today.
Yeah.
I love you.
Love you.
Truly. 사랑해.